Good morning, card fans. Welcome to Uncommon Cards. Bit different today. It's just me. I'll be chatting with anyone. I thought today would be a good one to reflect on everything that's happened so far. Sort of go over some of the key learnings that I've pulled from talking to these people and then going back through and listening and all those sorts of things. Firstly, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's watched and listened on Spotify, liked and subscribed, all those things. It, liking and subscribing, I'm sure with YouTube, it helps get you out in front of people and stuff like that. But uh, it helps me more in regards to you see people actually watching and listening and liking and commenting, and that's for me more important, I guess, than the amount of subscribers or anything like that. Just to know that there is people out there getting any sort of benefit or learning from this is truly humbling on my behalf. So yeah, thanks everyone for that, and also thanks to everyone that's come on. Everyone's come on of their own free will, and I think that sort of is it's an indictment on them that they're willing to give up their free time to be on here just to get out there and talk on cameras and screens and yeah, sort of share their experience. And I'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, thanks to everyone there. Thanks to the two teams that have been on as well, Eternal Magic and PX3. Yeah, it's been really, really wonderful for me to have access to those guys. So I guess first thing is, where am I? So the overall arching story behind this is I want a top cut. I was pretty clear about that in the very first episode, very first video. I'm not very good at the moment. I'm just not very good, but I want a top cut at a regional. Part of this was going through and chatting with these top players, getting key learnings from them, and then progressing. For myself, being regional, I don't have easy access to locals. It's about an hour, hour and a half away, depending on traffic. So I don't go 2-3 times a week like you will have heard some players do. I sort of go once a fortnight, maybe once a week leading up into a big event. But yeah, mostly once a fortnight. So how have I, like, talking to these guys, how am I going to fix that? So the main thing there is I haven't played in online events. So that's the main thing there, having access to those bigger online events. I play in those a lot more. Booked in for the Adelaide regionals and the Brisbane regionals. So I'll be at those in-person events too. And then waiting to see what happens later on in the year. That's attending events to get that top cut. That's the first step, right? Yeah, so got to do that. And then, so the best way to approach this is, like, let's just talk about the key learnings that I've had. So everyone that I spoke to has a key group of players outside of their locals that they play with regularly via webcam, on the sim, in person. So they playing against people of a similar skill set, and they're pushing each other at all times, and that's reflected in their results. So to talk to, for example, Shrub, he is remote as well, and he has created his own group of friends that he plays webcam games with, and that's how he gets in his reps. But then you have the PX3 guys over in Perth. This is Perth here, and then the Eternal Magic Brisbane crew is here. So opposite sides, and they have got their tight knit groups that they can bounce ideas off, test decks with, and stuff like that. So my thing is there, I've sort of got to get into a group there, some sort of testing group. So just sort of being in Discords, play groups, things like that, and playing more webcam as opposed to using the sim. I've always used quick play on the sim, and that's sort of been my main thing there. But so yeah, so key learnings for me are a focus group that I can play with regularly through webcam. So I'll be building that. Anyone wants to be in that, just send me a message. Or if you're already in a Discord that does that, let me know and send me a link and I'll join in, try and get as many reps as I can. And then the other thing was the ranked sim. So people use ranked sim as a tool. So I've always sort of steered clear of ranked sim because it always felt like it took forever to get matches, but I've started playing in that a bit more, and I'm probably not high enough ranked to benefit from that, being in the ranked sim, because I'm still playing random decks. Like I played like a queen, blue yellow queen the other day. I was like, oh, it's not what I expected to find in ranked, but yeah, doing well in, for me at least, in ranked, but just not progressing high enough. Only playing like a couple of games a day in ranked. The so that's that, getting in the reps and things like that. So then we move on to the next thing that I found very consistent across all these players was deck selection. No one's going into events with the plan to top cut and do well with rogue decks, which is obvious, like, right? But there's always that thought process or sort of like spark in the back of your mind that's like, oh, maybe if I take this really random deck, no one will know how to play it. But no, they take the decks that are either best deck in format or in that tier one range and have the really good spread. So for me, who I've only ever played Bonnie, or green decks, Uta into Bonnie, I need to reassess that moving forward. So I don't have the cards. Well, I could get the cards, but I don't plan on it. I'll be planning on taking Bonnie to the next online and to Adelaide because that's what I have and that's what I feel comfortable with. I don't think I could learn blue purple Luffy in that time frame that we have now, which is like a month, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, for 3 to 4 weeks before Adelaide. But I don't think I can learn a deck that's been around for a while now to the level that these guys playing Top Cut have already used and explored this deck. So post OP12, I'll be sort of shifting off Bonnie into one of the tier one decks. So whatever that money is, maybe Zorro, maybe still blue purple. We'll go from there, and I'll do my work there. Best deck in format sort of thing, which sort of brings me to the next point, which is everyone mentions that you've got to have fun. So they don't play well when they're not playing on a deck that they find enjoyable to play. So, which almost contradicts that best deck in format statement. But I think for me, talked about this with Ernest, and amongst others as well, and Shrub, and basically everyone said this. You find a deck that does well into that spread. Dominic mentioned this, and then that aligns with your playstyle. So for me, I haven't really played any of the OP12 on the sim. I've just been playing the current meta, just getting in reps for that for the upcoming regionals events that are in that meta. So I have to look at the OP12 data after I finish this. Like looking forward to it a bit now, but looking into that how do I approach that? What deck do I enjoy? So I think it's probably going to be Zorro on that note, now that I've said it all out loud. Sort of matches when I first started, I started on Uta, and the event to restand your leader and swing again just resonates with Uta, I guess. Gameplay wise, I'm not really sure how Zorro works. I assume it's just smash at face, but I'll have to look into that a bit more. And then so we've talked about a few things. We have talked about choosing best decking format, actually getting to regionals and those events so that you have the opportunity to top cut, play groups, creating play groups, and testing strategies and having access to that as high quality. And then the other thing is just your resilience and from both a health and or physical and mental health standpoint on an actual regionals. So mentally, I do tilt. I do hit a point where I'm like, oh, this sucks. And then I stop focusing as much as I should. So I'm not sure how to fix that. Ernest gives some really good tips in the video that comes up next week. He talks about that extensively. So tune in for that one. So I've got some really good tips there and things to follow up on for the mental side of it. For the health and just being able to physically, like I don't enjoy sitting. So being able to physically sit and stay focused during a 10-hour spell is something that I'm looking up online. How do you maintain that? So, I guess the main things that I've seen online are like what you have for breakfast, what you fuel yourself with through the day, which all sounds really odd for a card game, right? Where you're sitting down, you're just physically not doing very much. But yeah, it is draining for everyone who's been to those. It is draining. So, and to get to top cut, you need to still be at your peak performance at the end of the day, not at the start. So, maintaining that alertness and awareness throughout the day are some things that I have to really, really work hard on, and not going on tilt. There's so diet, health, just having a bit of stamina about you and things like that will really, really help. And being able to mentally focus the entirety of the day. So working through those things. There's also, like, I guess, like being distracted and things like that. So it all fits back into that sort of mentality. In terms of actual gameplay and like seeing improvements and things like that. So it's and tracking tools. So I'm using Kadi Kaizoku's. I joined his Patreon because he has some really cool tools in there, and I'll put those links below. And it's all sim tools, but it tracks your win loss rate, like what your starting hands, like a lot of things like that. Just takes away me having to build a spreadsheet, and so I find that tool really, really helpful. And I think that is something that I'll use a lot of, especially moving off Bonnie into other decks and understanding, like, I'm much better with this deck and much than I am with this deck. Is that because it has a better spread, or is it because I feel more comfortable with that deck? Things like that. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the statistics and things there. There's just also like, it's just sort of haven't really discussed it much with anyone, except for, again, Ernest that comes out next week. But it's a topic that I sort of want to get more into and potentially even record a session, which is coaching. So do some coaching on top decks that I want to take to regional. So which I like. Coaching is I don't know if it's like does the topic itself a little bit sort of taboo to an extent, like coaching, paying for coaching in a game that is meant to be fun and casual. Is that like the right thing or the wrong thing to do? But I think it's like everything, right? So you can you can run, right? You don't need a coach to go for a run. But if you want to do well at running, you get a coach. So I'm applying that logic to the car game. So if I didn't want to top cut, is coaching something that I would pay for? Nah, probably not. Um, if if I was running around town, is coaching something I'd pay for? Nah, probably not. But if I was paying money to go to events halfway across Australia, is would I pay for a coaching plan to make sure that I enjoy my time when I'm there? Yeah, probably it would. Would and I have. So that's the premise and the logic behind it. So uh, comment below your thoughts on coaching. Also guides, being in Discords, things like that. And there's a lot of YouTube and tutorials, deck lists, deck builds that I use and going into that. But yeah, so I sort of want to get a coaching session, and depending on the coach, and if they're happy, maybe even record some of those interactions so that people have a better understanding of coaching and what I get out of it and like what the coach gets out of it as well. Because I feel like it's a two-way street there. That getting coaching and they're learning things as they're coaching you. So that anyway, this is starting to feel like a full ramble from me. But I just wanted to put something out that sort of shows what I've learned from this experience. Because as I've said to everyone that I've interviewed, it's very selfish on my behalf of getting access to these top players who have incredible insights, which is in its own form is coaching. So it's incredibly selfish of me, I guess, to be putting people in that position, which I'm cognizant of, and I am learning from that. And I just sort of wanted to express that gratitude, I guess. Go from there. So, and so, like moving forward with uncommon cards, like what's the goal now? So, obviously, continue to track myself. So I probably will do more rambling, waffling like this as I go through this until I top cut. So, and then if I ever top cut, then what do I do post that? Tracking that through these sort of videos that I put online, sort of, it's more of an accountability, I guess, for myself. Continue talking with people, but I think I'll pull that back to one a week. Just only put one a week out instead of doing Tuesdays and Fridays. Just do it on like a Wednesday or something, and then just give me better opportunity, more time to sort of polish those videos, I guess, because at the moment they're pretty raw, really. But if you enjoy that, just let me know. Slide into my DMs or something. So there's that. Yeah, and also talking more with people that not necessarily One Piece, but like just top card players. So whether that's like all the Bandai card games, we've got like what is that? Dragon Ball, Gundam, bunch. Then there's like Pokemon. There's Infinity Card Magic. There's like Infinity Card games. So talking with some not necessarily One Piece, because whilst that is what I want to be good at, I think the learnings that you can take from someone who's the the national champion in Dragon Ball are just are the same, right? It's a card game. So how do they prepare? How do they do that? Even though it's for a different card game, and then if say they've mastered a card game and then transitioning to another card game, it hasn't been the same route. Like I think there's a lot of interesting learnings there. Do if you're like good at one card game, are you just good at all card games, sort of thing? So talking with more people, a bit more varied. I'm not like here to do deck lists and breakdowns and things like that. So it's sort of something that will never come across here. But I would like, I think, more spontaneous interactions. So going to these regional events in person, so just chatting and then recording those, almost like a day vlog, I think would be pretty cool. And I've seen some of those online. I enjoy watching them. So I guess I enjoy making them. I don't know. But yeah, so I think overall, for me, the experience has been wonderful. And I hope it's been wonderful for everyone involved. I'm always open for feedback. Please, 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 feedback, 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 so I can get better at this. And then, yeah, that's about it, really. So thanks everyone for coming along, and I'll stop waffling. So peace out.